some nights of full energy. One red right here, cause they're my enemy. Subscribe and like, rate and review. Your host times a day, couple guests too. We're gonna win a trophy, we're overdue. Can we do the double, make it deja vu? It's a North London ting, Bird Runner's only on the wing. Harry's one of our own islanding. He's only got one knee, but Leslie's to the king. And we got Deli Ali, that's top in. Where the shell side, where the shell side, where the shell side's what we sing. Where the shell side, where the shell side. No, it's a North London thing.
Yo, 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 yo. It's the Shelfside Podcast, episode 87. And guess what? There's no Kwab'na. Again, MIA, AWOL, Feds can't find him. National Guard can't find him. He's probably hiding somewhere with Prince Andrew. Actually, that sounded wrong. Maybe he's not hiding with Prince Andrew. But yeah, you know what I mean. It don't matter. Because we've got the big bad Lero and the mighty Carl, and they're going into battle a bit later. Welcome, gentlemen. How you doing?
Good, thank you. Wherever Kwabs is, he can say hi to Tanguy Ndombele, Deli, and the rest of the missing players. You can also say hi to the Arsenal guys who have run off scared. Yeah. But I'm good. Excited to be here.
Yeah, all good. Me the same. Excited to be here, and yeah, all good. I can't complain. Beginning of the week, and yeah, ready to rock and rumble.
Lero, can I just say, you have officially done more shows, episodes of the Showside Podcast this calendar year than Kwab'na has.
Oh, wow. I think that's a shot. Shots fired!
There's going to be a lot of those because there's no football at the minute, so we need some shots from somewhere. Boy, we've got to start with the Chelsea shenanigans, the shambles, an opportunity to get to Wembley, opportunity to try and put ourselves in a position to win a trophy under Conte. We discussed the first leg, you and I, Lero, last week. We didn't really do much better in the second leg. I mean, I don't want to go through that. I want this to be a fun pod as there's no real football going on. But from both of your perspectives, what's your one biggest takeaway for why we failed? And I don't want squad depth because we know Chelsea have got billions and they've got the best academy in Europe or certainly in the Premier League. So give me another standout thing that was highlighted in those two games to why we didn't get a result or close to getting a result. I'm going to start with you, Carl.
Do you know, for me, it's pretty simple. We have got to earn the right to play. We have got to work harder. We have got to earn the right to put teams like Chelsea under pressure. It's simple. Not to go too much back into the old days, but with Poch, the first few years were tough, right? But we had to work hard.
£1 fine. We mentioned the Poch word.
We worked hard. We hustled. We became a stronger team for it. And then when we lost to Chelsea, Battle of the Bridge or whenever it was, we would be upset because we deserved to win. We played ourselves onto the pitch. We put up a good show, and yeah, we didn't think we deserved to lose. But over the two legs, and over the two legs, it just looked like we didn't really deserve to be on the same pitch as them. And that's not got anything to do with player quality or strength and depth or even tactics. It's just hard work. You know, 5 years ago, Harry Kane would hustle, work hard, work his socks off. Over the two legs, he didn't really do that much. He put himself about a bit, but he didn't work hard. He expects the ball to be given to him. He's not Ronaldo. He's Harry Kane. He's got to work hard. And that's just true all over the pitch. Eric Dyer didn't have to do anything 5 years ago because he had Vertonghen on one side, he had Alderweireld on the other, he had Hugo in goal. Now he's got to work harder. Granted, he wasn't in the game, but I'm just, as an example, just like Davinson Sanchez, Ben Davies, he's just got to work so much harder now. And we're just not that good anymore because we're not working hard.
Yeah, I like some of your phrases in that sentiment there. Definitely need to work hard. And I think Cristiano has 8 years on Harry Kane and is probably still fitter, more mobile and sharper than Harry Kane.
There you go.
So that's testament to CR7. I don't like calling him Ronaldo. Cristiano, but we'll call him CR7. Lero, what are you thinking?
I mean, it's just a little add to that, to be fair. I think Carl covered most of it. I will say quality because I was looking for another word for quality, but you can't make as many mistakes and gift a quality side so many goals and expect to get a result, So, yes, you have to work hard. Yes, you have to have desire and understanding and a will to win, but you can't give away goals with all of those other factors. If you have them, you still can't give away goals. And the fashion we gave away goals, you can't win competitions like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's kind of summarised by the state of our demise, right? We go back to that era that I will not mention because I don't want a pound fine. I'm not finding myself. We go back to that era quite often because it is a benchmark. I do get that. As much as we try to move away from it, has been the highlight of our recent turnaround. So, and in that era, yeah, we worked bloody hard. We had men, don't necessarily think we had winners per se, but we had men who were up for the task, and the Battle of the Bridge was a good example. A game we should have won and came off the pitch thinking like we've thrown it away. And we were never at the races for these two games. And to add to what you guys were saying, I think it all boils down to the demise, but working hard is, I think, physical and mental.
Yeah.
Because I think you need to have that concentration throughout. And if you look at the goals we conceded, you could put all of those three down to concentration.
Yeah.
Right? Tanganga is at fault. I'm not trying to dig Tanganga out here. He's had a tough week and a half. But definitely at fault for the first two goals. And then Galini and a bit of Tanganga at fault for the goal at White Hart Lane. So if we concentrate in those moments, and not only those moments, Kane, he's looking across the line. It was marginal, but make yourself onside. He knows the rules. Make yourself onside. Then you score. The pass to Lucas. I saw somebody blame Lucas for not freaking controlling the ball. It was an overhit pass by Kane. Lucas is quick, but he didn't need to be quick. He should have just been running onto the ball casually with all the time in the world to slot it away. He was forced to try and go around Kepa because the pass was overhit. Again, that's concentration. He had done the hard bit by dancing around a couple of players. And he had another option to the left, but I understand why he went to Lucas. Just moments like that. And again, I'm not digging Kane out like Carl did, but I'm just saying, I think, Lero, you preach this a lot. Tired minds produce tired results, right, at the end of the day. And I think they're tired because they're chasing around. They're not on the front foot, pressing and making lateral movement for each other. But yeah, I think it's part of our demise. And boy, that's one London rival I'm glad we're not facing again. Oh, we're facing them again this month.
Can't get
who we won't be facing. No, who we won't be facing is those lot from down the road. Are they running scared, gentlemen? Are Gunners runners?
They're runners. They are top runners.
Yeah? Tell me why.
Because quite clearly, Liverpool done it to them the week before, and I'm not saying Liverpool the only club that have done this so far, but Liverpool tactically done it to them the week before, and I think Arteta realised that they could get away with it. So, their squad wasn't, they had their main, their main players are not involved. When Saka, come off injured in the Liverpool game, I kind of knew that they were going to try something. They knew they weren't going to be up for this derby. And do you know what? Fair play to him. He used what was, in hand. He used what was in hand to gain the advantage. And that was not to play the game then and move it to a later date. And hopefully they've got their players back. So fair play to him.
So, yeah, I mean, they played their card and it paid off. They had the joker and they played it. But they had fit enough players. And I'm not going to go into it too much. I'm going to let Carl give his opinion because he's already touched on what he thinks already. But I'm going to let you go into it, Carl. But I just think they told Liverpool to play their kids. The Arsenal fans told Liverpool to play their kids. And now they're celebrating that they haven't had to play us. I think that is so little of them. But Carl, tell me why the Gunners are runners?
Do you know what? For me, there's two parts. There's the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. And I'm not going to get into digging out their fans, because if it was us, I'd be cheering the same way around. Like if we'd lost half our team, more than half our team, and we got out the game. But the letter of the law says if you've got COVID impacting your squad and you can't field 13 outfield players and a goalkeeper, you can apply to have the game called off. Arsenal had a COVID case, a single COVID case.
At the time,
At the time, and they didn't have enough players. They put the application in. Fair play. The letter of the law has been followed. But then there's the spirit of the law. The spirit of the law is supposed to protect teams that have been absolutely torn apart by COVID, right? Where COVID is the only thing ravaging the team. Like Spurs were when we had to miss our Europa Conference League game and subsequently got kicked out of the tournament. Like Leicester had been when we tried to move, well, we tried and then they tried to move the fixture in December. That's what the spirit of the law is there for. It's not to protect you from players who, the moment they signed, you knew were going to play in the African Cup of Nations. It's not to protect you from injuries which are par for the course in the Premier League. It's not to protect you from your number 34 who cannot keep his legs to himself and gets himself sent off more often than I get myself down the pub. It's not for that. And
could have been tactical.
Well, it could have been. And from that point of view, it's absolutely shameful. It's disgusting. It's shameful. And, you know, players, managers, fans are the first to complain when VAR follows the letter of the law, not the spirit of the law. Oh, he fell over in the box. Salah went down like he'd been shot, but there was contact. That's the letter of the law, not the spirit of the law. And everyone gets onto Salah. Everyone gets onto whoever it is that's dived that week.
Bernardo Silva the other week, wasn't it?
Yeah, but now Arsenal as an entire club have taken a dive in the box because there was contact, in air quotes.
Yeah.
And what, we're just meant to be like, oh, it's okay, it's the letter of the law. No, they're fucking pussies. You might have to cut that.
No, that stays.
No, I'm not cutting it.
That stays.
And I might air quote that. They've taken a dive in a box because there was contact. I see what you did there. Double entendre. Jay-Z over here. Nice work. So I totally agree. I mean, I have one theory on this. I haven't seen this floated about, but this was my theory on it, because there's obviously those lists going around about the 13 or so players that were missing for various reasons, and one of those was the number 34. I honestly believe the Premier League could not have considered him as one of those players, because then he's been rewarded, and Arsenal been rewarded for his stupidity and his inability to tackle cleanly. So I can't believe it's that. What I think there's a threshold for COVID cases. They obviously didn't meet that threshold with one case at the time, reportedly, Odegaard. What I think, though, may have gone in their favour is the African Cup of Nations. And I know you touched on it, Carl, about signing players, knowing that they're going away to a tournament. And this is something this particular club got away from doing under Wenger, because they realised every January they lost players. But the AFCON, correct me if I'm mistaken, but I believe the AFCON this year or last year was supposed to be in the summer. And I think it was delayed due to COVID. So now that teams have probably lost players due to the AFCON, which was delayed due to COVID, maybe that's why the Premier League have said, okay, 4 players plus the one, maybe the threshold has been met for COVID. That's the only thing I can think. Honestly, the only thing I can think. Or else they've set a precedent which is absolutely ridiculous, and they're going to be hung out to dry on it, and every club's going to just basically say, I haven't got my best team, I don't want to play this week.
Do you know what, though? I can't believe I'm going to say this. I don't think it's fair on Arsenal that they've done this and everyone's focusing on Arsenal, because if we go back and look at what happened the week before, most clubs I think all Premiership clubs are using one body to check their COVID results, and Liverpool the week before used another body. And then they got so many false positives or such, and then they got their game cancelled, and then the following week they've gone back to using the company that everyone's been using in the Premiership. So for me, there's dodgy dealing there. Dodgy dealing.
Are those red headphones? Am I going to have to call you Ty?
No, these are not red. They're black. It's just that I'm sitting in the dark, to be honest.
Whether or not there's like Liverpool might have pulled something, that's like maybe not. I think it's tough to like Arsenal have won a game this year. Have they even played a game this year? I'm not sure, but why would Liverpool be afraid of Arsenal in any way, shape, or form? Arsenal have only beaten the bottom 5 teams, and they're celebrating like they're Champions League contenders. They're not. They're still a bunch of kids, and they were going to get battered by Liverpool. Even if that's the case and Liverpool's done something dodgy, so have Arsenal. And like, let's call out Liverpool and Arsenal. It's not one or the other. Let's
But
call
that's
out
what I'm
both.
saying. If you're going to call, like, I feel that a lot of heat's been sent Arsenal's way, and I'm not saying, I'm not trying to protect Arsenal. What I'm trying to do is say what you're saying is call out everybody, and let's bring some light onto this situation, because I guarantee when Spurs go to pull this trick, it's not going to work.
Of course not.
We know it's not going to work.
But here's the thing: Liverpool didn't send 3 players out on loan, knowing they were short of players.
That's true.
Like, there's
Yeah,
got to be
I
a
have a
best
problem
effort
with
to
that.
put a team out.
That's true.
Intentionally
Yeah.
done things that aren't going to let them put a team out. So, frankly, let them burn.
Yeah, you release 4 players to go to the AFCON, and then you release 2 players who've been in your squad. Maitland Miles is a squad player for a good few years now, and Balogun, who's had all the hype, you decided to loan him out that week. Why not wait until the end of the month, just before, and loan him out? So another point which I do have a problem with, but Lero, you're very right. Teams other than them lot down the road have manipulated this, but other teams have been forced to play. Chelsea were forced to play, surprisingly, with all the money they've got. They were forced to play, and Tuchel was absolutely steaming before, when he felt that this was going ahead, and then he said not going to say a word on the matter when it was actually postponed, because he was livid. But the Premier League got sorted out, and they've got to try and put more wording around the COVID threshold and why games, or how and when games can be postponed. We've got 4 games to play now, 4 games to catch up on, and that means a lot of midweek games. It means this game will probably be pushed to March for a great TV day and battle for top 4. But I guess, and I said this before, and I don't want to be Dr. Tottenham, but if we win our 4 games in hand, I checked the table today, we go 3rd, forget 4th, we go 3rd above Chelsea if we win those winnable games in hand. So that's a big if. That's a big if. But what is it that needs to happen or go right for Tottenham for us to get top 4? And I don't just mean win our games. If we won every game, we know we get top 4. But what other factors are there out there that we need to think about, that we have no control over, we have control over, that will get us top 4? Go on, Carl, you've been itching.
It's scheduling, right? If we get, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, or, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday for a couple of weeks, that's manageable. If the powers that be were like, lads, it's Tottenham, and they want to do us dirty again, we'll have to play 4 games in a week, and we'll maybe win the first, draw the second, get spanked twice on the way out. Harry Kane and Sonny will get injured, and then the season's done, and we'll finish 6th, and everyone will call it a complete failure. And that's not on us. That's not on the club. That's not on January signings, and I'll come back to that for a sec. That's not on anything. That's just on horrible, selfish scheduling that doesn't take into account sport, that doesn't take into account players' health. See the Christmas schedule for further details. It's right up the Premier League's alley. Now, what can we do to try and get top 4 to increase our chances despite being shafted by scheduling? And I just expect it's going to happen, because, why wouldn't it?
You have no faith in the powers that be.
Oh no, I have complete faith in that. I know exactly what I expect them to do. I just don't expect them to help us. So what can we do to offset that is nail January. Right, January is a hard time to sign players, and no one wants to move, and everyone's expensive. Fine, but we need players, right? Conte is looking at a right wing back. Frankly, I would versus Adama Traore, I would just stick with Doherty. I'd put money in central midfield. That's where we're lacking ideas. I'd put money up front, because if Harry Kane twists his ankle, we're going to finish 10th. So we need reinforcements. We need another defender, because Joe Rodon's not getting a look in. I'm not going to question the manager. He's just not. And Tanganga will give away soft goals, or just panic and get sent off. So we need another defender. So I want a big striker, I want a midfielder, I want a defender. Wing backs can wait.
Oh, I'm going to touch on three things. Sorry, Leo. I'm going to just touch on three things you said there. Very controversial there, Carl. Very controversial. You said you'd rather have Doherty than Adama Traore in this scenario. And I think you're highlighting the point that we need to focus on other areas. But you and I both know that you don't want Doherty over Adama Traore at right back, at right wing back.
If everyone costs the same, that's absolutely fine. But spending 20 odd million on Adama when, okay, he scored a goal on the weekend, but up until the weekend, he's done nothing this season apart from be shiny, hard to hold on to, and run fast. He's got no delivery.
He said be shiny.
There's nothing, like, he's basically a hench Emerson. Like, Emerson, slick, fair enough, Adama can get past a man, Emerson can't. They're both their final balls, shoddy. So what's the point? At least Doherty, shoddy all over the place, but he's consistent, he's trying hard. And I'd rather have him up and down as a backup to Emerson and get a centre forward that is a genuine competitor to Harry Kane. Like, we're not going to get Vlahovic this summer, but someone who, if Harry Kane's not playing, we're not like, oh God. Like, if Dane Scarlett starts against Leicester, it's a wrap, right? We might as well be playing with 10 men. So we need someone who can come in, sit in the front and, like, make defenders scared.
Yeah, your point is the money is best served elsewhere.
Yeah.
Again, I take exception to Dane Scarlett. I think if we had Ericsson and our squad in the area that we're not talking about, I think Dane Scarlett would fare a lot better. But yeah, he's been unfortunate.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, I'm going to jump on the Adama situation. To be fair to him, I feel like, yes, I know he's got a record that speaks for himself, but I think to be fair to him, his mindset's not been at Wolverhampton. He's wanted to leave. And even though he's put his body out there, I don't think his mind's been out there. And I think now that he's been in a situation where it's a January transfer window, it's like, oh, I can get a move. All of a sudden, he pops up with a goal. And I'm sure if he plays again, he's going to add an assist or he's going to do something. He's not going to look like the Adama that we've seen from the beginning of the season. Do you know what I mean? So I just think that's mindset with him. I'm not a massive fan either. I'll kind of reiterate that point. I'm not a massive fan. But yeah, I feel like some players are mindset. Like Gio, I think his mindset. Dembele, it's mindset. You know, what do they mentally want to give to this club at the moment? And they're not. So, but I'm going to move from there and go on to me personally. Like, I don't think up to last week I thought we was going to get some signings. I don't think we're going to spend money this summer. This January, I think we might. If we get one in, mate, everybody better be happy and clap. You know, for me, I feel that we now need to focus on getting our fringe players up to a level where they come in and they do things. I mean, if you look at it, and this is why I understand that we conceded a goal against Chelsea, but I think I understood what Conte was trying to say within his press conference. You know, some goalkeepers, you may be lucky that you have a goalkeeper that he could be out in the cold for a while, and then you put him in a high-profile game, and he just performs. Most goalkeepers are not like that, and he's been number one for a long time, and then all of a sudden he's not playing, you know, and he's not even playing the cup games. And at some point we've got to think Hugo's not going to be in goal, he's going to be injured, or there's a possibility, and then we're going to throw in Galini and expect him to just be amazing, and it's not going to happen. So and there's no simulation for a high-profile game, is there? So I think, you know, that on the backside of maybe he was like, yeah, this tire's past us, but we're still going to go out there and give a good account of ourselves. You know, I respect the fact that he actually played Galini. And, you know, with consistency, maybe he comes out and claims that cross. You know, I think he's not really had much of a chance or much to do when he's been in the goal. And then when it's gone wrong, it's gone terribly wrong. Do you know what I mean? But he's not had consistent games to even kind of build up any resilience to anything. So, yeah, I just think, as I said, honestly, we need to bring the sub-level up, even if they just give us consistent games, mistakeless, and a bit more fight, you know, and quality. Yeah, I think that's all we can hope for, you know, to get us into this top four run.
I think two things very quickly
Go on.
is, one, if Adama wants to move, tell him to go to Newcastle. Lucas is a better right wing back than he will ever be, and let's get someone else up front.
Yeah.
2, completely agree with you on Galini. He also made 2 very good saves.
Yeah.
On balance, he cost us the game, but the game was already gone.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that wants Adama?
Yeah.
I think I want Adama. I think Adama will give us vertical or lateral spacing. Like, as crazy as it sounds, you don't have to mark Royale. Like, Reguilon, you've got to worry about a little bit. Adama, you would have to consider. You probably get at him in the other way, going defensively, backward. But going forward, he will scare the living daylights out of the left back, the left wing back. He will create so much havoc. Their hands will be so oily that they'll flap up their throw-ins for a start. They're not wearing gloves. Like, literally, he's going to cause so many problems. And I know 3 out of 10 crosses will hit the money, but that's probably 2 more than we're getting now from the right-hand side. Like, if we can get him for a contract snip of 20 mil, I would do it, as long as it doesn't mean selling Bergwijn. We need as many options as possible. We're going to be a side that hits people on a counter quite often. The pace, the power, the dynamism. I'm going to take 2 out of 10 shots going on target if he gets 10 shots in a game for his pace and power. That's just me. Just saying. Right now, we're on scraps. If we can't get Jovanović's, which we're not going to get, and we're not going to get a Sheik or put the money in, then I'll take a cheeky Adama Traore. I would. I'm not going to lie, I would.
Would you take Adama over Eriksen?
That's a good point. Now, see, it's a different dynamic there, right? Eriksen, I would take Eriksen just because I think he would fit right back in. And there's a risk, but there's no more of a risk than taking Daley Blind at Ajax. And he's played without incident, I should say, since he's had the instrument put in his heart. I would take, I almost made a terrible pun. I'm going to say it now because it wasn't intentional. I would take Eriksen in a heartbeat.
Do you know what I think the problem is? Why we don't care about Adama? I think we're tired of waiting for a project to work, and he is something like they said, it's either got to be amazing or amazingly good or amazingly bad. And I'm just like, do you know what? There's so many things that he could be amazing for, but I just don't want to take the risk. I just want to get someone in there that I know is going to do the job. Like, full stop. That's my point.
Same.
Yeah, no, I hear that. He is a project. He's definitely a reclamation project. Kind of. But sometimes when players find the right home, they become amazing. And I don't think we're going to be asking him to do as much as maybe Wolves do. But it's a fair point. But Carl touched on Eriksen, and I think that's another fair point, because very quickly we've got to discuss the man who's played 300 games for us, who potentially could be going to Brentford. No disrespect to Brentford, but he's but literally last bit of action other than the Euros, won the Scudetto with Inter. Should he be aiming to come back to Spurs? Should Levy be going there and saying, come back, finish it off?
I'd love it from a sentimental point of view, but really, he shouldn't. Even if we signed him today, he hasn't played in 6 months. The time it's going to take him to get fit, to get up to speed, and this is up to Conte's speed, right? Not up to Nuno's speed, means that we can't use him for most of the rest of the season. And that's a squad place that could be going to a player we need and a player we can use. So I love him, but no.
I love Dombele, but he'll probably run more than Dombele.
That's a very good point. I've got nothing to say to that, apart from get rid of Dombele.
And he'll probably get a free kick over the wall more times than the Celso.
Or Harry Kane.
Winks is our set piece taker now, to be fair. So, let's put all the faith in Winks. No, do you know what? I'll be scared. I'll honestly be scared for him. Like, for him to be put through a grueling pace, in training, I just don't, would your heart or your mind allow you as Conte to do that? Because, you're going to push this guy, and obviously they're going to have to take baby steps, but how much time does the Premier League allow for you to take baby steps? Is it something we really need to add to our squad on top of everything else? Another kind of, a mental shift that we'll have to do for just one individual player. I just, and can he actually get to the Premiership fitness, and will he be able to keep up with the pace? I just think it's too risky. It's way too risky for me.
Yeah, there are many points in there. There are many good points. I was going to add another one, but do you know what? Let's talk about ENIC. Let's talk about Levy. Let's talk about the property development company that is Tottenham Hotspur. We've just released plans to build the properties, the housing, and the 4-screen cinema on Tottenham High Road. Great bit of business for the area, I believe. But is it bad from a Tottenham perspective, Tottenham fans' perspective? We've got 2 minutes. 1 minute, Carl. 1 minute, Lero.
Do you know?
Well, go on, Carl. If you're ready,
go.
No, I was just going to say, can the 4-screen cinema play centre back? Because what the hell are they doing? Like, to be honest, I haven't looked at the plans in detail, but for me, this is just showing the exact problem that fans have with the club and with ENIC right now, which is massive investment outside of the football pitch when we are screaming for on-pitch investment. We need better players. We need more players. We need a new contract for Hugo. We need a new contract for Harry if he dares sign one. And yeah, if we miss out on top 4 now, but we've got Spider-Man in HD down the road, like, what, is Tom Holland going to come and play up front for us? I don't understand. Like, it's just going to...
No, we want Zendaya up top.
No,
there we go.
They're just hoping that when we lose, because of lack of investment, that we can drown our sorrows down at the cinema, spend some more money, and watch a film and probably perk ourselves up. I just think, for me, really, Spurs fan, it could be a great thing, but we just need clarity. We need to know. I don't want to know to the penny, but okay, that's investment, and obviously this company is connected to Spurs. So what is it we're putting into that project? What is it we're getting out? How much is that going to be? How much of that is going to be spent on the pitch for players? And if we know these things, then all the development is great, but we're not seeing the reflection on the pitch, and we don't know what the plan is. So how are we going to be happy about that? Because it just looks like they're lining their own pockets. They're using Spurs as a big global face and getting themselves in with Haringey Council and making generational wealth for their family. For me,
Tottenham Hotspur is becoming Tottenham Hotspur real estate conglomerate. Oh, and by the way, sometimes we play football.
Yeah.
So guys, I think you're being a little bit harsh, maybe, and I'll tell you for why I think you're being a little bit harsh. I've got 30 seconds. Right, so I think the ENIC International and ENIC are 2 slightly different companies, and I think, and I'm hoping I'm right here, I think there was part of the proposal, in order to get the rights to build the stadium, we had to help regenerate the area. And yes, it's going to be good for the property company that we've got these buildings, but I also think it was part of the proposal, and we also had to build up the new train station, etc. So yes, there's one way to do it. We could spend millions and millions and billions and billions, so we've got the best property in the world, or we can build something that helps us also fit that requirement and also keep money to invest in Tottenham Hotspur. So I think you're right in that regard. I don't think we'll ever know to the penny, but I think we're going to have to leave it on that note, guys. And I'm going to say thank you for joining us.
No way.
Oh, you want Delhi? You want Delhi?
He's here today.
No, Delhi. Delhi's going to come.
All right, cool.
Delhi's going to come because Delhi hasn't played this week, so we haven't got much to go on this week. We're going to keep Delhi for when Delhi strikes again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. You get away with it again, Carl.
Don't worry, I'm ready.
He was here. To be fair, he was here in all fairness. Kwab'na threw the curveball in about the ENIC and the property. But guys, thank you for joining us. New cities, I'm going to shout you next week. I saw some interesting ones. Guys, you know what to do. Give us a 5-star rating. We only give you 5-star content. We've got the Battle of the Delhi, Lero and Kwab'na to come. So, Lero and Carl even. Why did I mix up your 2 names? I'm tired. Guys, thank you for joining. Catch us next week. It's the Shellside Pod. Lero, run the outro.
With the Shellside, Tottenham.